Okay guys, we are going to look at this new snake right now.
Just stop and breathe, open your eyes and see a cold-blooded monster born from pure jealousy. Who wants and needs a sick savage beast, quenchable thirst for this romantic scene. Play the lead, the star of your love story. Find your fate. Now keep me waiting. I'll find your fate. Waiting now, I'm waiting for the show.
Yo, what is up guys? We at the expo today. We got some shit to look at.
Naturally, at an expo, you gotta have supplies, and there's a bunch of them. We got stuff like boas, pythons, and any other pet snake you could possibly want, because people be working with everything nowadays. Once again, more supplies, and this is the best place to do it. It's cheap. Got some bearded dragons, gotta love it. I love these red ones, super cool morph. Of course, you gotta have hots. It's Pennsylvania Expo, got a bunch of hots. Got this monocled cobra standing up here, freaking awesome. I love me some hots. We got some gaboon vipers. We got some mangrove tree vipers. We got a bunch of insularis vipers. It's awesome. And of course, you gotta have ball pythons.
All right, guys, we made it out of the expo and we got our 3 new snakes. That's right, 3. I got 2 new vipers of the same species and another viper of another species. I'm not going to show you guys these yet because I need the clickbait for the thumbnail, and then I need you guys to wait a minute because you got to watch the entire way through because I need that watch time. You know what I'm saying? I need that watch time. Here's a snippet. That's all you guys are getting. You're going to have to wait until we get home to look at these snakes. And honestly, these things are fucking pristine. Pristine. Let's do it, guys. Okay, guys, we are back in the snake room, and we got the new snakes here. So why don't we take a look at these guys? We're going to look at them one by one. So this guy is a female Tripodalomeris waggleri, otherwise known as the Waggler's pit viper. Now these guys are pretty freaking cool because they're actually kind of difficult to keep in captivity, and furthermore, their venom is not really that bad. Unlike other vipers, these guys have a neurotoxic venom, which is not like the other vipers who have more of a hemotoxic venom. Something that I forgot to explain that I'd like to explain here is the reason they're called temple vipers as opposed to just a Waggler's viper is because in some countries like Malaysia, they'll actually have temples that are just filled to the brim with these snakes, and they'll like put them on tourists and like have them on themselves as like a sort of tourist attraction. It's kind of interesting. I can show some photos here, but yeah, that's why they're called temple vipers. So this guy is the Waggler's pit viper. Now, as I was saying, these guys have a more neurotoxic venom, and the interesting thing about these guys' venom is that it's actually not that bad. There's been a lot of people who've been bitten by this snake, and it's actually a pretty mild snake to be bitten by. This snake is very interesting in the fact that, you know, Tripodalomeris as a genus is actually known to not have venom that's very bad. I've actually heard people say that they don't even think it's medically significant, which is kind of fun. And in addition to that, people often say that you should free handle these snakes, which is really funny, and the reason for that is because it... Let's expand on that idea. Basically, stress is a good way to kill these snakes, and they get stressed very easily. But if you free handle them often, they will not be as stressed as they were when they see you, because they'll start to get used to you and associate you with no danger. So it'll reduce their stress, thereby allowing them to live a more fulfilling life and a longer life. Helps them out with stress quite a bit. These guys are kind of difficult to keep in captivity, and they're often stressed out whenever they come in through imports or whatever, because these guys are wild caught. They're very difficult to catch. Not very difficult to catch, but they're very difficult to actually get in captivity to breed. And so this is a wild caught female who hopefully will be good for me. Something with these guys is hydration. Hydration, hydration, hydration. Keeping humidity high, but not keeping them wet, but also keeping them hydrated. It's really weird how they like to be cared for, which is kind of why they're not really cared for that much. Nobody really breeds these things. As I was saying, these guys have a very weird way that they like to be cared for, and the reason for that is mainly just because of their water requirements, as I was saying. You know, the guy at the table that I bought this from, he had 80 females and 3 males, which he left at home, because apparently males are very hard to get their hands on. And this is a female, you can tell, because they actually have some very high sexual dimorphism, which is when the two sexes look different. As you can see, the females are black with this yellow coloration, whereas the males are almost completely green with a little bit of red. And it's a very stark difference. The females are also much larger. Now, these are pit vipers. They have heat-seeking labial pits on their faces. I actually don't think they're called labial pits. I'm pretty sure ball pythons and stuff have labial pits. I forget what they're called. I'll put it down in the little tags. But as I was saying, these guys are very cool. Now, all right, guys. So we have 2 squams, otherwise known as the variable bush viper. As you can see, we have a male and a female pair. Hopefully, these guys do not die. And these guys are not just the green ones that I kept on getting. These guys actually do have some interesting colors to them, so we can take some of these out and see what they look like. I also got a couple new hooks at the expo. We got this little one so I can finally hold little snakes, and then we have another big one because I actually needed another big one just to have because I needed to double hook anything. Okay, let's pull this guy back. Okay, let's see what we can do. Oh, he's kind of cool. Oh, his head has kind of a purpley hue to it in a way. That's very interesting. These guys have very interesting eyes. These guys are the variable bush vipers, Therasquamagera, and they are very variable in color. They come in a lot of different colors: yellow, green, blue, black, which is the most expensive one, usually $1,000. They have these little differently colored tails called caudal lures. Usually they kind of seductively move their tails like this to attract prey, and if you want to feed them, a lot of times you can tap their tail and they will eat it. Next up we have the female here, and this one is actually very pretty. She is yellow-green like the other one, but she's more yellow and she has a little bit of orange, so that's very nice. There was a couple other red ones there, more vibrantly red ones, but they were a little bit too expensive. She is underneath this piece of... I'm just going to take that out. She is very pretty. We can really get in there and look at that. She like moved her body in a way. You should back up. Really get away from my finger. Whoa. That's super cool. Now, luckily for me, I actually know the sexes of these. I never knew the sexes of my previous ones because I don't think that they were actually sexed before I purchased them. So it's good that I actually know the sexes of these two. This one has a more obvious color on her caudal lure. This one's like white at the end. These guys are springy. Now these guys are still juveniles. They will get maybe the same size. Maybe the female will get the same size as that other temple viper that I had, but that's not very likely. Right now we're probably going to tub up these until they're old enough to really be inside of an enclosure of their own, because they are still a little bit young, and we also want to quarantine them real quick. Alright guys, so this is my Jameson's, who actually still does not have a name. We need to get a name for him. Unfortunately, he has some stuck shed on his tail here that I'll have to remove, or just hopefully remove in the next shed. Whenever he goes inside that lockbox, we're going to be mounting another Arcadia lighting up in here, because I want all of my enclosures to have lights in them, at least all the ones that need them, at least. Because we have, look, yeah, this one, that Croton is not doing very well, but there is a light in here. We got this light, we got this one a light, 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 and then those two have lights too. Everything's got lights, except for this. And I mean, I want to put a light in there, because I mean, also whenever he goes inside of that box, we're going to revamp this enclosure, because the pothos died, so we had to take it out. The moss looks like crap. I'm probably going to put a layer of sphagnum moss underneath the moss, wet sphagnum moss, so it has a better area to grow on. I don't think that the peat moss substrate that it's here is actually very good for growing. Looks like she's ready to get out of the bin here. She looks to be kind of restless. She took a dookie in there. That's good. It means I don't have to clean it up. Let's get her in her enclosure. Look at Big Bertha. I love her. She's my favorite. Alrighty. Let's get her in there. Look at that. She looks right at home. Very pretty snake. Very inquisitive. Okay, we got some basic tubs set up for these snakes here, so let's get these guys in here. When it comes to snakes that you get from expos or really anywhere, you want to try to quarantine them first before you put them in any sort of bioactives or anything. And I'd love to add these to the bioactives immediately, but unfortunately we're not going to be doing that. Didn't mean to drop you like that, guy. I'm going to keep them in these sterile tubs that I get from Target for a couple weeks, maybe just 1 week. Make sure that they're good before I put them anywhere else. Make sure that they're feeding. And I'm just going to store them in a very quiet, nice part of my room, probably above right there. So that's the male. Let's get the female out. She's really springy. Look at her. She's real pretty. I really like these squams. These are one of my favorite species. I think second favorite species in the world, behind the Naja samarensis. Yeah, she is real springy. Make sure these guys are feeding. We're going to give them small pinkies. This one's caudal is actually much more pronounced. She has a nice white one. The back tip here. You can see it right there. It's quite nice. As requested by my friend Emma, their names are Rick and Morty, respectively. We can set these guys right up here next to the temple viper setup. This is one of the prettier snakes that I own. She's very awesome. She's found a nice little home inside of here. Very nice. We got some nice plants in here. Some fern, some pothos, some prayer plant. I really like this. I don't know what that is. And then I don't know what that is either, but it's very popular. Got some Spanish moss hanging from the sides, or the top, and then we have some pothos hanging from the sides. That's what I meant to say. I think I really like the way this enclosure came out. We got these glued together, not glued, but silicone together, and then the sticks silicone to the wall, so it's nice and sturdy. Her eyes are like kind of small. I don't know how to describe it. Well, no, you describe it like that. They're just kind of small. It's very pretty. I like her. Still looking for a name, so if you have a name and I like it, I'll probably pick it from the comments below. Big Bertha's taken her time to explore her enclosure a little bit. I quite enjoy Big Bertha. She's my favorite snake, I think. She's awesome. I love her. She's actually calm today, unlike the previous video where she was losing her shit. The croton did not work very well. I think I might have to pot that plant if I want it to do good. But I really like her. Yeah, she hooded up a little bit. Maybe she doesn't want to be touched right now. That's fine, though. She doesn't have to be. The back of their hood has an odd pattern. Well, it's not an odd pattern. It's similar to Naja, the Indian or spectacled cobra, which I find to be very cool. She is just a stunner. She's generally nice, which is good. This dude keeps taking swims in his water dishes. He's gonna need a new enclosure here soon. He's kind of outgrown this one. Anyways, guys, that's been today's video. I really hope you enjoyed that. Let me know how you feel about that intro, because I think that was a cool intro. Anyways, guys, you'll be getting new updates on the Vipers and everything else in this room as things happen. Looks like she's actually drinking. Yeah, she's drinking. I'm just going to leave her there for a minute, let her drink, let her get some water. She's going to need to be hydrated every day, of course, as I said. But anyways, guys, yeah, see you in the next one.